So, for no particular reason, I decided I wanted to rank the Rocky movies. I love this franchise. I always have. I really think it's one of my favorites. And I just love Sylvester Stallone in these movies and Michael B. Jordan when he comes in later on. It's just a really fun series to watch and a really fun series to. It just gets you excited, And sometimes, especially nowadays, I just need some positivity and something that's going to uplift me and just make me feel more alive than what the world currently makes me feel. So, with all that being said, I want to go ahead and rank all these movies. And let's go ahead and start off with my last place, which is in last place is Rocky 5. This is a movie that I don't even hate. I think it's kind of interesting in what it does. They take you out of the ring for this movie and they put you in the streets, and it's more about just street boxing, which is very, very interesting, especially for a series that's known for being very a sports kind of movie. And it's definitely just feel like a sports movie. And there's some boxing in the film, but it's mostly just, hey, Rocky fights a guy in the street. Rocky's really just a dad in this movie. He doesn't really do a lot of fighting. It's mainly his son that does most of it. And the movie's just, it's fun. I mean, there's some good stuff in the film. It's not really too bad. It's just, it's just a movie that exists, movie that just does what it needs to do to just get the job done. And there's some really weird managers throughout the movie that are just really cartoonish in parts. I don't know. It's one of those movies to where, yeah, it's you watch and you're like, that's a movie, and it's just extremely forgettable for being that. Next up is Rocky 4, and this is the one where the series essentially take jumps to shark. But it's still a really good time. I actually really enjoyed this film a lot. It's nothing like amazing, but they do some very interesting things with the character of Rocky in this movie. They do some really interesting things with well the villain of this, which is Dolph Lundgren, who plays Ivan Drago, and he is just a super soldier who's Rocky's gonna fight in this movie. They do a really bold thing in this film of killing off one of my favorite characters in the franchise, and I'm not gonna spoil it here. Even though this movie came out in the '80s, I still like to keep that kind of stuff hidden unless I review the movie. In a ranking like this, I just kind of want to keep it hidden. The training montages in this movie are great. I really love them in the film. They're very '80s. The soundtrack is extremely '80s. And it's just a fun time. I mean, it's just a very American dude fighting a Russian in the '80s. Like, it feels very of its time in a lot of parts, but it's still really enjoyable as well. Next up is Rocky 3, and this is the one where he fights Mr. T. That's the only thing people really know about this movie. I like a lot of this movie. I like Apollo Creed and Rocky training together. I like that Apollo is kind of taking a back seat in this movie and mainly being Rocky's just motivation. I like his relationship with Adrian here, and I what I really like about this movie is Mr. T as Clubber Lang. He is really fun throughout the film, and while he's not like a great character or anything, he has some very memorable lines, but he's also very sleazy in that he hits on Adrian in front of Rocky, and they kind of build up Rocky in this movie as being this kind of superstar-esque character to where he has a statue made for him. He has all these fans. He's really beloved in Philadelphia. And so you get to see him kind of get torn down at parts, but also being brought right back up at the end when he finally defeats Clubber Lang, and it's a really fun time. I mean, not a great movie by any means, but it is a really fun movie. It's definitely one of the most fun movies in the franchise, and I really enjoy it. Next up is Creed 2, which I couldn't think of no other spot to put this movie than right after Rocky 4 because this is the definite spiritual sequel to Rocky 4. You got Adonis Creed in this movie fighting Ivan Drago's son, and you get all the emotions of that because of what happened to Apollo Creed's dad and what all this means for him, and it's really emotional stuff and it's really heavy stuff. They also dive in this movie with Rocky and his son a little bit more than they did in the other films. And Rocky in this, he just seems very tired and he just wants to not train anymore. He just wants to be by himself. And that leads Creed in the position to just take over for him and just be pretty much the new Rocky. And while the movie definitely falls into some of the trappings that some other legacy sequels fall into that I feel like the original Creed did not, it's still a really fun time. And they really break Adonis Creed down in this movie, and they really strip him down to his core. He has to build himself back up. And what they do with Ivan in this film and his son, and what they talk about with his mom, about how Russia was pretty much propped them up, and then they just left them behind. It's really good stuff. It's a really fun movie. I actually just rewatched this movie a couple months back, and that's Rocky Balboa. This one is really, really good. This is the first movie in this franchise I will say is great so far. The other ones have been fun to mediocre. This one is really, really good because it's Rocky's last hurrah in the boxing ring. This is essentially him going up against a younger version of himself whenever a sports broadcaster was like, hey, what if we take Rocky and have him fight this new boxer that's up and coming that's about ready to lose his title? And Rocky eventually takes on the lead, and it's a little rushed in that part of the film. But I love what they do in this movie with Rocky and this person who works at a bar. It's really good. I love what they do with their relationship. I really like him becoming the surrogate father to that kid. Him teaching him a little bit. It gives what happens in Creed a little bit, but also not as great. Still really good stuff. And the boxer they have fighting this movie is still really, really good. He's still a really good actor, and it's great. It's some really good stuff. And Rocky in this movie, it's really sad watching him in the boxing ring one last time because we'll never see Rocky fight again after this film. But it's still really it's a good closure to the story, and this was one of the first Legacy sequels, so I think it did a really good job of capturing that. Next up is Creed 3, which is the first Rocky movie and probably going to be the only Rocky movie without Rocky in it, and it's really, really good. I think this is a great directorial debut by Michael B. Jordan. I really wish he would direct more films after this, but to each their own. It's still a really fun time, and while Jonathan Majors is, a very controversial actor, I think he does give a good performance in this movie. You can recognize that while also disliking him as a person. But besides that, yeah, the movie's really, really good. It's really well directed. It looks incredible. Michael B. Jordan is giving it his all in this movie, where he just gets pulled back in because of this relationship he had with essentially his brother from whenever he was a kid, who was going against him, and he has to take him on in this ring, which he really doesn't want to do. He just wants to just be with his family, but he can't do that because this guy from his past just will not let it go. He will not let go of what happened to them as kids and what happened to him as a kid because of Creed. It's a really good movie. It is a really fun time, and the action, not the action, but like the boxing at the end of the film is really well directed, and I think it's one of the best sequences in all of Rocky, in my opinion. Next up is Rocky 2, which is essentially the movie that said, hey, the ending of the first movie was a little sad, so let's go ahead and just give you this one where they give you the ending you want. And they do here. They touch on some really interesting topics in this movie. They touch upon commercialism and how they keep trying to make Rocky into this commercial figure. But they also touch upon his brain damage in the film, which you would not expect from a movie like this. But it really goes that it does go really deep into that. They go into his relationship with Adrian really well here, and they bring back Apollo Creed in this movie, and they become more like rival, like they don't hate each other in this film. They just respect each other because of what happened in the first film, and you see that it's just a sport at this point. Like they don't even it's not even that big of a deal. But having Rocky win at the end, in addition to having him lose in the first movie, just makes the first two movies really good in comparison. Now, I think this isn't as good as the first Rocky, but I still really enjoyed this movie a lot, and it's still a really good time. And it also gives you the ending that most people wanted from the original Rocky movie. In second place is Creed, and this was the first remakeable reboot of the Rocky series since Rocky Balboa in 2006, about 9 years later after that film. And this movie came out swinging, no pun intended. It was really, you got Ryan Coogler behind the camera, which is one of the greatest directors we have working nowadays. And he just does an incredible job with this movie. It's a legacy sequel that doesn't really feel like a legacy sequel. It just feels like it's trying to tell a really good story within the universe. It takes all the tragic events, all the insane stuff that happened in the other movies, and puts into a realistic setting. And Michael B. Jordan is great as Adonis Creed in this movie. He really does bring his A game here. Rocky is great. Sylvester Stallone, he does a great job in the film. And while his other boxing opponents aren't as like iconic as, Mr. T or Apollo Creed or Ivan Drago, they're still really good in the movie, and they make up for that in the next couple of films where they bring in more personal and more iconic people for him to fight. But what really makes this movie work is his relationship with this person in this film, his partner, and they are really good. Tessa Thompson is amazing in the film, and I just think it's a really good movie. And in first place, y'all already saw this coming. It's the first Rocky. This movie is so deeply personal to Sylvester Stallone. Without this movie, Sylvester Stallone probably would have never been in Hollywood, which is insane to think because he is one of my pillars when it comes to Hollywood actors. I love him in most of the things he's in, and I think he's genuinely not a bad guy in real life, which is kind of weird to say for Hollywood people because most of them are bad. But besides that, the movie is just really, really good. Like, this is a great film. It's a great underdog story. it's one of the first like real underdog stories to where you got this guy from Philadelphia. He isn't really doing much with his life, and then he just takes on this really high person with Apollo Creed, and it is an uphill battle to climb. He gets trainers in this movie with Mickey, and it is just really iconic stuff. And of course, that theme song is just perfection. It truly is. It is just a really good film, and I mean, obviously, you guys know this movie's really good. The ending, while it is a little sad, it's also really uplifting because he at least got to do his shot. He at least got to do what he wanted. And if this was just a one-off film, it would have been fine. But the fact that it spawned the whole franchise is still really great as well. But this could have just been just one movie and it would have been a great film. I mean, hell, this was nominated for Oscars. Like, it's just a really good movie. And so, yeah, Rocky 1 from, I believe it was like 1974, 75. It's amazing. I love this film. So that was my ranking of all of the Rocky movies and the Creed films from the franchise. I'm not really sure what I'm going to title this video yet when it comes to that because it's both Creed and Rocky. But besides that, what do you guys think about this ranking? How would you rank all the Rocky movies, and which one is your absolute favorite, or which one's your absolute least favorite? I really love this series. The series has always meant a lot to me. Apparently, it's gonna be like a documentary kind of movie that's coming out in November, where it's gonna be about Sylvester Stallone's journey to play Rocky, which I'm incredibly interested in. Besides that, tell me in the comments below what you guys thought of this video, and I will see you next time. Take care.